What's up, people? Had a good day. Had a very good day. Hanged out with my sister. Won't mention names, but I spent a good quality time with her, and it was awesome. So I finished all my stuff. So this is gonna be a shorter live stream. It's probably gonna be about like an hour, give or take, and probably gonna do some. I'm gonna ask myself some questions and see what unfolds. Hello, whoever's here. I just jumped on. We're gonna be doing about an hour-ish today, give or take, because I'm gonna be jumping off around maybe 5:30 or maybe 5. We'll see what happens. I'll grab dinner and chill out. It's been raining all day. It just sort of like simmered down a bit. So, and it's cooler as well, so I actually had to wear the sleeves today. This is like a reminder of what's to come, a prelude for next month-ish. October is usually the time when the weather really starts to like that. But yeah, whoever's here, hello, welcome. Alina, good to see you. It's been about a week or so since I've seen you, maybe 2. I think the last time I saw you was when I went to San Diego, when I went to London, Ontario, and I was driving back. Unless I've seen you one more time before then. But yeah, hello everybody. I'm gonna start asking myself some questions just to see what I emotionally or like intensely observed or experienced. My tablet needs a little bit of a cleaning, but whatever, it's all good. But yeah, today we're just kind of just chilling. Let's see. EOEI. EOEI. All right. Let's do the monies for a moment. Let's see. For money, what did I emotionally observe / emotionally experienced? Well, it was tough. Conflict. Growing up, I saw lots of conflict with people with money. What else did I see? Problems, even though conflict and problems are basically the same, just different words. Struggle. Suffering, because I've seen other people suffer. I've had pain, lots of pain when it came to money back then. The reason why I'm doing this exercise right now, for those of you who are wondering what the hell am I doing, it's this is a bar, and you might want to write it down. In order to fully understand you, you must read your previous chapters of your life. I'm going to repeat that one more time. In order for you to understand your life, wherever you are in your life right now, you must read your previous chapters of what you experienced. There's no greater book you will ever read than the book on yourself. And so it's important to go within yourself every so often to see if there's things that needs to be removed. Now, you're not really technically deleting it, you're overwriting it, because the subconscious mind, one that holds on to things, it kind of stays there. But you can overwrite the experience. For example, let's say you had an experience with somebody rejecting you at school, like when you were younger, like a girl or a guy. You go back and you replay the scene, but you replay it differently. And the more you emotionally, the more you have more emotional intensity with that experience, that you can overwrite the experience, you will basically overwrite the experience. For example, like the kid chasing me with the stick, right? Fear of like being killed, right? On the playground. I had to go back and recreate that scene. And in the beginning, it was a little challenging because like, but in order to process and feel feelings, you've got to feel it. You're not actually going to die, but it feels like you're going to die, but you're not. I promise you, you're safe, because like the subconscious mind doesn't give a shit about time. So for example, if you're thinking like you've let go of the past, but yet you're still experiencing things that are like, why am I never getting any closer, any further? Well, it's simple, because the past still is holding on to you. And that's a real bar. Please write that down. And the reason why I say that is because so many people think they have let go of their past, including myself. There are times where the past seems to still hold me back. And that's why it's important to sort of like go and do a deep dive on yourself by asking yourself questions. Now, here's the thing. If you don't know what questions to ask, how do you start to become aware of the questions you start to ask yourself? Right? You have to go back and sort of replay your previous chapters and see like, where did you experience the most intensity, most pain, or even most joy? Because like you've had experiences in your life where you've had joy and abundance and flow, but majority of people focus on the negative. So, and because they keep perpetuating the negative, it keeps bringing it back into the present moment. And so it's important to go within yourself and do a deep dive to really understand, or I like to use the word understand yourself better, because when you start to see, like, for example, I already wrote down for money specifically that money was tough. It was conflicts were surrounding money, problems, struggle, suffering, pain. I'm going to add the word difficulty. Very hard. So I'm going back into experiences. I'm going to rewrite that word, very hard. When you go back into your experiences and you relive those moments, you can go back and recreate that experience and make it easier on yourself. So like, for example, I'm going to use money. So money has always, for the longest time in this character's life, has always been a little bit of it's been a roller coaster ride, to say the least. I've had 6-figure career, but I also felt broke. I made $1 million and then I lost it. Now I'm starting to reach financial abundance again with my clients. But the thing is, like, I want to make sure like there is no subconscious block that, because potentially like this thing will start to happen, that thing will start happening. How do I feel about money? So like when you go back to as much as you can to go back to all your experiences, you can start to overwrite those experiences with newer experiences. But the only way to really start doing that is you have to start to be more relaxed. Okay, cool. Whatever, bro. Clearly people are wasting time. Get your ass off my stream. It's okay, whatever. I don't give a fuck. If that's float your boat, by all means, but I don't roll that way. So you can get your ass off my stream. And so to get back to on topic, you have to go and recreate the scene, but you have to be in the state of being relaxed. Because it's not really about doing the work, it's about what state you're in while doing the work. And that's a real bar. So if you're attempting to change your past in a state of stress and anger and frustration, your subconscious mind is not going to give. It's not going to budge. You have to be relaxed. And the prerequisite to being relaxed is going to be you having to sit still and just allowing yourself to just immerse yourself into these experiences. But so many of us are afraid to feel feelings because we feel like we're going to lose control of ourselves. I promise you, you're not going to lose control of yourself. You're going to be rooted and perfectly safe, and you have to anchor that in as you're guiding your North Star, that in every present moment, you are actually safe in every present moment to live the life that you're supposed to live by experiencing the things you're supposed to experience, by feeling the feelings that you're supposed to feel, so that you can actually bring forth the things that you're supposed to bring forth. Because in order for you to let in the new things, you must let go of the old things. Because if the old things is in direct contradiction to the new thing, there's no way that the new thing will come. And if it does come, it's going to come with a very nasty surprise. Like, for example, you might run into a person, right? Or actually, let's not use a person. Let's use a business. You might find this amazing apartment. Or let's not even use business. I'll use apartment. You might find this amazing apartment. It has good pricing. You know, it looks good on paper. You find it and you rent. But then within like a month or two, you start to see all the problems that are arising with this place. Like, it's noisy. It has cracks. There's leaks in the pipes. There's just so much repairs you have to do, even though that's not really what you're responsible for. But that will have to take time out of your day to go and call the plumber to go and do that, and that might cost you and not the building, right? So like, there's all of these different things that will start to happen if you get the thing that you desire, but you still are holding on to the old, because the old and the new are basically like they're fighting to see who is going to win. And the thing is, because you haven't overridden the old yet, and you still hold on to it for dear life, that saying like, finding an apartment is hard. There's always going to be problems finding an apartment. I'm always going to run into difficulty. My last place my landlord was a bitch, or something like that. You're going to manifest shit like that. So you have to start to recreate your new experience. So I know this is a chill-in chat, but this is actually important stuff, because so many of us, we go about our day, we're unconscious, we just don't have the time to sit and do the work. I've been doing this work on myself for quite some time. There's still some, I'm not saying that like I have nothing left, but at the same time, like, I also tell myself, like, even if I have something, it's not a problem, because I'm not creating it into a problem. Because when you start to make it more into a problem than it has to be a problem, then you start to create the problem and make it more of a problem than it has to be a problem. You see the paradox there? So like, me writing out right now for money, it's tough. There's conflicts involved with it, problems, struggle, suffering, pain, difficulty, very hard, right? I'm going to go into my inner world to find any experience that I experience for myself, or someone I had an experience with, or their experience that I observed. Like, for example, my mom, them, you know, their issue was it's always money. For them, it's always about money. They always complain about money. They always fight. They always say it's hard. They always say they don't have enough. And when I was younger, they had an experience with one of their, you know, things that they had. They were making lots of money back when they were younger, my parents. And unfortunately, they made a decision that altered their state of being forever, and it hasn't changed since. And since from that moment on, they have instant regret. So every time they have any financial decisions, they're scared to do something. And so like, for them, they emotionally experience that pain of like, when they make a decision, it ends up being the wrong decision, and thus that wrong decision punishes them. So basically for them, you know, money is punishment. So that's another word I'll write down, punishment. And because I observed them as they were going through it, I took on their bullet that was never meant for me, but I took it on because I was a child. And you see them like constantly worrying about bills, and they're worried about stuff. And, you know, these are human things that we have to deal with, but there are ways that you can handle it. Two people can have the same situation, but look at it two different ways. There's person A who is fear-mongering, like, oh my God, I can't even pay this bill, and like, where am I going to get the money, and da, 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 and they start to freak out. And then there's person B who looks at the situation like, okay, cool, I have this thing, I'm going to find a way. I'm not going to freak out, I'm going to find a way, I'm going to handle my business. So like, it all comes down to how you perceive things and how you frame things, because when you perceive and frame things in a certain way, you allow yourself to see things differently, and you have a different experience. And you see, the funny thing is, because I just shared their experience, punishment wasn't a word I wrote down until I like kind of navigated it. I'm like, oh, punishment. So money was a source of punishment, because anytime you make a decision, it always seems like I always made the wrong decision. Like for me, when I went into that crypto scam, like I felt something like in my gut that like something is wrong, but I didn't understand back in the days what trusting my gut was, because the word trust didn't exist. And so like for me, another one would be no trust with money. That would be like an example. Now I'm going to do relationships, just so we can move on and just have a quick little, what's up? We're just doing some subconscious work right now, and I'm explaining some things. So, relationship. This is a good one, because there's a lot of people on the internet creating all kinds of content on relationships, and they're creating content that may not be empowering. There's a lot of content that is very empowering, and then there's a lot of content that's disempowering. So like you go on Instagram or you go on TikTok, and a guy is speaking about a girl in a very negative way, and then the girl, you see like a piece of content that where one side got cheated on, so then you take on their bullet, and yeah, that happened to me too, and yeah, all women are like that, and then that's what happens. Or in the same aspect for the women, they see men, like they saw content where a man cheated on a woman, or they did something, and then yeah, you know what, all men are like blah blah blah. So they catch on a bullet. So for example, relationships, for me, were always about conflict. There was always drama with relationships. There was always problems. I don't have time for what your number's thinking. I'm doing something important. That's irrelevant. Conflict, drama, problems with an S at the end. What else did I emotionally observed or experienced with relationships via either my direct experience or someone else's direct experience? Oh, I've seen people get cheated on. Which leads to betrayal. So these are things that the subconscious mind is hiding in the background, singing a song that you may or may not be aware of. Thank you. I fully receive your compliment. What else? Betrayal. Your heart breaks. So broken heart, which kind of leads to basically sadness. You get angry. So anger. Frustration. I should actually write frustration for money as well too, because people get very frustrated when they don't have shit coming their way. Frustrated. Annoying. I know I had annoying moments in relationships. What else? I have no idea what the fuck that's saying, but I see the gay word there, so you can get your ass off my stream for that. What else? I'm writing shit out so that you guys can potentially see what kind of shit you're probably holding on to. What else did relationships have that I experienced or I observed from someone else? Not you, the person who wrote in some Indian, like whatever the fuck they wrote there, that made up like those texts. I can give fuck all about what that person said. But anyways, let's see. So conflict, drama, problems, cheated, betrayal, sadness, anger, frustrated, annoying. What else? What else do people experience in relationships from the negative aspect? Well, heartbreak leads to sadness, leads to technically despair, grief. Do we get grief? Grief's a little, I'm not going to write grief. Irritating, there's another word. Loneliness, thank you. Loneliness, that's what happens. Let's see. I myself, when I was in a relationship, after the breakup, I did have a little bit of that experience. but I also have experienced it from other people's experience where like I chatted with a friend and they just broke up with their partner and they were very like sad, and I'm like, oh shit. And then I took on their bullet because I couldn't keep myself separate from their emotions, and so I internalized their emotions as my own, and thus you catch a bullet that was never meant for you. And this is what happens on social media. People look at content, and when you're doom scrolling, it throws your mind into something called the theta wave. Theta is in a relaxation. So sometimes some of you are scrolling and you're wondering, wait a minute, it's already 10 o'clock? I thought it was like 8 o'clock. Like 2 hours just passed by. And like you're like wondering, where the fuck did time go? Because you now went into theta where time doesn't exist and your mind is very susceptible. And whatever you feed your eyes or your ears via your content, you run into potentially taking on a bullet that was never meant for you. So let's say in those 2 hours you saw a bunch of content that is purely talking mad shit about like men or women, or maybe you saw somebody get scammed, or maybe you saw a lot of just negative stuff. Then you input that as your emotions, because now you've taken on their bullet and you want to relate to that person, so thus you take it on and then you emotionalize and internalize what they have experienced. It's only natural, humans tend to do that, and ultimately what is going to happen is that you're going to then catch that bullet that was never meant for you, and then you are going to kind of reinforce that piece of content into your experience by bringing a person, a situation, an opportunity, or an event into your life. And thus, this is why it's important when you're watching anybody, and I mean this, when you're watching any piece of content on the internet, please be mindful of what you're actually consuming with your eyes and your ears, because you are being susceptible with your subconscious mind. It may seem harmless at times, but I guarantee you there are things lingering in the background whispering, you can't do it. You can't do it. Who do you think you are, huh? You think you got this? You'll never be rich. Who do you think you are? Your mind is not always going to be on your side, unfortunately. Unfortunately, the mind will always do its job to protect you, to keep you safe. It's its job. It's doing what it's meant to do. But in its job, what it's going to do is also self-sabotage you. So the moment you want to reach out to a girl, right? For my guys out there, this is for you. You're about to reach out to a girl and you have this crush on this girl, but you've had previous experiences of just bad luck with women. So when you go to reach out with the girl, you may or may not, it might not land. And in fact, you might end up self-sabotaging and creating unnecessary problems and obfuscations with that girl. I'll use money now. Let's say you're finally starting to make some bank. You're starting to make bread, right? And you're making good money, but guess what? Somewhere deep down, you don't feel worthy of having that money. So thus, the universe will bring a circumstance, a situation, an opportunity, or an event, or a person to bring forth what you currently believe is true for money. That, yeah, I don't believe I can have this money, so I'm gonna have something in my life take it away, and it'll feel like your money's gonna be constantly be taken away from you. And I experienced that a lot in my last couple years, where I had a lot of savings, and then like little by little, like my this broke, like what the fuck, like a random bill that I didn't have to pay, like what the fuck's going on here? And then I had to do random car maintenance. I'm like, really, at this time, universe? Like, and then that creates more frustration within yourself. And then what happens is the universe will just magnify and maintain that frequency that you're on. Right. Okay. So for you specifically, your problem is not the first date, but the connection, keeping the connection genuine. So in your experience for relationships, right, there could be previous experiences where like it was not genuine, and thus you're expecting that the next relationship or the next person you meet is going to end up potentially being not genuine, and thus there's a little bit of a potential expectation. And notice I said the word potential. It's not solidified. It's potential expectation that you're expecting that the next person you meet will may or may not be genuine. So like if you go into the next relationship or next, keeping that, that connection with that person, the expectation is to rewire yourself that all of your previous relationships, though it didn't pan out, at least, they were genuine, even though they may not have been in alignment, right? Sure. I know all my neighbors, and I will shout. So you can turn down your microphone, or you can go close your window. It's funny. I should say turn down your speaker, not your microphone. I meant to say that, my bad. Turn down your damn speaker, or shut your door and shut your windows. Yeah. You're welcome. Another thing that could be is that maybe you saw content where other people aren't genuine to other people. And so you also internally emotionalized that, and you took it on as a little bit of a bullet that was never meant for you. A lot of us, we catch stray bullets that was never meant for us. And that's through content. And this is why I was saying earlier, like it's important to be mindful of what you're listening to and what you're what you're listening to and what you're seeing with your eyes, because you're feeding your subconscious mind through two different ways, through your ears and through your eyes. And there's other ways that you're also absorbing through your subconscious mind, like observing someone else, feeling it. They may not say anything, but you can feel some shit. I'm not a motivational speaker. I am a coach that helps people to unlock the fullest potential of their mind so that they can live their best life by design. But yes, I am a speaker, but it's not motivation. I don't do motivation. Motivation is actually bullshit. It's not sustainable. It's like this. I empower people for sure, and I encourage people, but I don't motivate people. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to bring awareness so that people are aware of like when they're internalizing something that it may or may not have been yours like directly, or you could have picked it up from like parents, because a lot of us, we pick up a lot of things from parents that was never meant for us, and we're holding on to like a very, very heavy energetic backpack that we don't even know because it's invisible, but it's like weighing you down. And the only way to release it is to feel it fully and drop the bag. But the problem is, if you're not aware of what's going on internally, then you will be ever wondering what the fuck is going on in your reality. You're like, why do people act like bitches to me? Why are people mean? Why is it hard to, land a job? Why is it that money is hard to make? Why is it that I never get opportunities? Why is it that girls don't like me or guys don't like me or whatever it is? Because if you don't study your previous chapters of your life, you will never understand your future chapters of your life. And that's a real bar. Please write that down. I didn't change my direction of my channel. This is what I do. You just jumped on at a time where I decided to talk. And I don't do yoga. I don't do yoga. I stretch, but that's not yoga. Yoga is like doing all these tree poses and all that stuff. But yoga, really, what yoga means is stillness. So, if this doesn't resonate with you, I would highly recommend not to be here right now. I don't know, you tell me. I guess you're the one that likes curry and rupees, so go get some curry and rupees. You can get your ass off my stream. Clowns. Alright. Seems you are more in the past life regression than karma. Nope. It's not about past life, because there's no such thing as past. Past implies that there's some other moment, but there's only one moment, and it's right now. So it's not actually past, it's actually present, and it's actually parallel. And karma also doesn't exist, because karma is based on your internal world, because the universe doesn't work on karma. The universe works on principles. The principle is as within, so without. So what you feel is what you expect. What you expect is what you get. So there actually is no karma, and past lives don't actually exist. It's actually parallel lives, because they're still happening concurrently, since time doesn't actually exist. So life is a roller coaster, indeed, but I think someone forgot to secure my safety bar. So the person who has to secure the safety bar is actually going to be you. There is no external force that's doing it. It's actually you doing it for yourself, but you have to be aware that you have to be doing it for yourself. Life is about knowing yourself and mastering yourself fully. And life is about experiences. Spot on. Experiences, knowing yourself, and mastering yourself. And enjoying yourself. The key word I just said there was enjoying yourself. Many of us are not enjoying our experience. Why? Because we want certain things and we're not having those certain things because it starts within us, and we are keep putting out negative expectations. Thus we keep getting negative feedback from our reality, and thus we keep perpetuating the cycle. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And so it's important to know, like, when you start to see what's going on within yourself by reading your previous chapters, you are a book, basically. Each of you are literally a walking book, and you must look at your previous chapters to see how you can have a more favorless? No, that's not the word I want to use. A more advantageous experience, a more enjoyable experience going forward. Because if you think reality is going to change for you, I have bad news for you. The reality will never change for you. It's you that has to change internally within so that reality will then shift. But you're not looking to change reality. You're looking to shift internally to such a degree that reality will just bend to your will. More people, we've been so conditioned to see with our eyes and feel things because this is all physical, right? It's real. But we also forget that it all started from the mind. All this, like this chair, had to come from the imagination of the mind. And so we have to go within and know what it is that we actually desire with such specificity. If you have specificity, the universe will help you with specificity. It will give you what you're looking for. But if you are like you say, I want money. Okay, cool. What does that mean? How much money do you want? I want to be a millionaire. Okay, cool. But what does that mean? Is that 10 million? Is that 1 million? Is that 100 million? Like, what is that? With no specificity, universe will look at you as vague and keep giving you vague because it's not clear enough. And unfortunately, if it's vague, the universe will be like, what the fuck are we doing here? Right? And so that's why if you know thyself, and you can go back to your previous chapters to revisit what has happened and unfolded in your life, by starting to see and take inventory on your experiences, you will start to play a different game going forward. And watch as reality starts to bend in your favor. Now, you're not looking to change something externally. You're shifting internally for the external to just mirror back what you're already feeling internally. So let's say confidence. Let's say you don't have confidence right now. By the way, all of you have confidence. You never lost confidence. You always have it. The problem is the world has told you maybe you lacked confidence or you're scared of something. It's okay to be afraid. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't create it into a problem, because that's what we do. We take something and then we magnify it to such a point where it becomes a big problem, where in reality it was never a problem to begin with. Let me read the chat quickly, because I know I missed a few questions or comments. Is there nothing lose or gain after we leave this human body? You basically gain experience. This is all it is. It's just experiences. Your soul actually evolves, and that's the whole point of this experience, to have the evolution of your soul. So you're actually gaining a lot. You don't obviously take anything physical with you. Like, you can't take nothing with you physically, but energetically you take everything with you. All the experiences you've had, all the feelings you've experienced, like the pain, the suffering, the growth, the joy, the love, the happiness, the abundance, the fears that you had, the lack, but the extraordinary experiences, you get to keep all those with you when you go. I'll definitely elaborate in a moment. I'm just reading up on the chat here. Yeah, motivation is bullshit because it's fleeting. One day you feel motivated to do something, but the next day you don't. It's not really motivation. It's actually importance. Importance, if you find something important, you will do it naturally. Motivation, you got to force yourself to do something. Whereas making something important, you will not force yourself to do it. You'll just naturally gravitate to it. So, for example, going to the gym, right? This is a big one for a lot of people. Some don't feel motivated to go to the gym, right? Because they made it into a chore, like, man, like, I gotta go to the gym, I gotta drive to the gym, and then I have to like wait for machines and all this stuff. And then there are other people who don't need to have motivation to go to the gym. They are actually excited to go to the gym because they enjoy it, because they made going to the gym not a chore but an experience of enjoyment. And so because of that, you will see them gone. They will just like, they don't give a flying F. They will just get their shoes on and they're like gone, and they are excited as hell to go to the gym. And so for motivation is more of a force thing instead of importance. And so if you make something important enough, you will naturally do it. And of course, while you make it important, you will also find a way to make it enjoyable. The more you can make something enjoyable, you'll just naturally do it. Thus, motivation is technically bullshit. Are you confused in your own words? No, nothing offense, but as I asked you first, you said you don't believe in God, or I never said I didn't believe in God, but God doesn't work. What's up, Rihanna? God does not work in karma. It works in energy. And I'm not confused in my wording. Reality is a massive paradox of itself. It's a massive contradiction and it's a massive paradox. And that's the beautiful thing about the world and this reality. There's infinite exploration. There's no one right way, theoretically. So if you do believe in karma, karma does exist because you're creating it from your own localization of your mind. For me, karma doesn't exist because the universe doesn't work on karma for me. But if your reality is like you believe in past lives and you believe in karma, then you get karma. But for me, it's not past life, it's parallel life because time doesn't exist in the other realm. This realm has time, but other realms do not have time. It's all one. It's one continuous flow. And so all those past, present, and future are already simultaneously happening right now. Yeah. Just believe that you don't know, then you will find that don't matter. It's very blurry. It's probably my internet. It's okay. Let it be. If it's blurry, it's blurry. Let it be. So reality stems from you, and how you've decided reality works, that's how it works. So again, if you believe in karma, then karma does exist. It becomes a law in your reality. In my reality, karma doesn't exist. Yeah, exactly. Similar to like if you go to heaven, if you spend 10 minutes in heaven, you will feel like you were there for at least, I don't know, 100 years, maybe more. It could be a lot more. It could be millions of years. It could be billions of years. It can be like time, just whoa, like you can feel it. And I've had that experience twice, where when I went, I'm doing air quotes, heaven. When I went to heaven, I felt this everlasting like why am I going back to Earth? Like, fuck that place. That's how I felt when I first had the experience, but I had to go back so I can help people. That's the reason why I had the experience. Yeah. Well, it's not called heaven, but sure, we can use the word. I'm just using air quotes. It's not really called heaven. It's just, and it just doesn't have a name. But we've given it a name, but that's just to label something. But can you do the air guitar? Can I do the air guitar? Fifth dimension, sixth dimension, all made up words too, but yes, those are the words that we must use. This is the third, even though we just created more words, because in different languages it's definitely not called dimension, but it's pointing to the same thing. It's called a different word. That's why all words are made up. But yes. Thank you. Somebody wanted me to play air guitar, so I'm doing air guitar. I have this accent. I don't have like the British accent. I can do water, but that's like terrible. Like I can't even do that. Yeah. Nah, Justin's cool. I like him. He keeps things fresh. Like a positive fresh. I don't even know what you said, Carlos. I have no idea. Oh, you're the one that asked about the English accent. Yeah, I told you I'm not British, so I can't speak in an English accent. This is my English dialect right now. You're welcome, 384. I like people like you because, your energy is very refreshing. It's very upbeat. That's why I enjoy having conversations like with like-minded people like yourself. It's pretty awesome. I had a really good day as well. I was hanging out with a sister who showed up. She we had a good time. Bro, Carlos, I don't speak any other language right now, so you can stop with the request. Hello, bless you too. Death means people are dead for us, or for that we are all dead? Good question. That's never fun. I have a question. Backyard and really looks... backyard and really looking to answer? Really looking answer to it. I'm sorry you had to experience that, Rihanna. It's okay. That person was just going through what they had to go through. Don't take it personally. I know you don't, but like, still, it's never fun to have to deal with people like that. But they'll get whatever lesson that they needed to get from that. Gotcha. Where am I from? Earth. Oh, the Hearted Today didn't talk about nipples. This is the nipple guy. He changed it up. See you later. I'm going to be jumping off shortly. This is a short stream today. So yeah, right now I'm just doing some I'm making a list of things that people could either emotionally observe or emotionally experience for their subconscious blocks for money, relationships. I'm going to do health. I should actually change money to wealth, but I'll leave it as money because it's just easier. And connection to the universe. So I'll just write G-O-D. Yeah. What's up, sister? Good to see you. Emotionally observed your fear. So I was mentioning this earlier as I started the stream that we tend to, like, the past, we think we let go of the past, but the past still holds us. In fact, the past is still lingering. And in order to release the past, you must go into the past, even though it's not really past, but your previous experiences, and remove, aka overwrite the experience by changing the scene. Such as, like, for me, instead of seeing my parents like struggle with money, I started to see them started to like the one experience I remember vividly is they're in the kitchen in the old house, and they were fighting about how the previous place that they had, they owned it, but because one decided to sell, the other was so pissed that they sold it. But the thing is, everything happens exactly as it's supposed to, because had they kept that place, I explained to them, because I went back to my old like place from like when I was a kid, and the condition of that building is abysmal. Like when I was younger, that place was like luxurious. Now as an adult, I went to the place. I'm like, is this the same place that I grew up with? Because this sure as hell don't look like the place that I grew up in. It looks like not to downplay anybody, but it looks like absolute like you're living in like the slums. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So like, had they kept that place, they may have had even more problems. So that had to happen. But like I remember when I was in the kitchen and they were going at it, and like that in that moment created a memory or a subconscious like feeling, because the subconscious was there, that oh, money is painful. And I already wrote down pain. That money is pain. Money is difficult. Money creates more problems. Money creates struggle. Money creates suffering. Then, of course, relationships. Growing up, I've seen not only them, but I've seen others who had just really, like I emotionally observed other people's relationships. I'm like, so I wrote down and this is not just for me, this is for everybody really. There's conflict, drama, problems, cheated, betrayal, sadness, anger, frustration, annoying, loneliness, and I'm sure there's a plethora of other feelings that I haven't wrote down yet, but other people jumped on and I always start chatting about whatever. And so it's important to like, you can't delete these, but you can overwrite the experience. Money isn't evil, it's how you use it. Money is neutral. So that's a belief that you're holding on to, or a belief that's holding on to you, because you're not holding the belief is holding you. But money isn't evil, thus, if you're struggling with money, that's the root cause. If you're not struggling with money, then that's cool, but if you are, then that might be a source. Health. So there's a belief that a lot of people have that it's tough to stay healthy. That there's a lot of work. Work creates resentment. Work equals resentment, because a lot of people don't like the word work. I didn't like the word work for years. Tough, weak, work equals resentment. Lots of maintenance, so lots of response. There's a little bit, I should add responsibility to both money and relationships, because a lot of people don't like responsibility either. Because imagine, you ever hear anybody say, I like responsibilities? Most people are like, ugh, more responsibilities? And I've sure as hell didn't like responsibilities for years, and I had to rewrite that word into my subconscious. I haven't really read any ways to get your guide as a mentor in a personal chat. Well, I mean, when you say in a personal chat, what do you mean by that? Like internally? Like speaking with your guides? Is it if you're surrounded by those who exploit you? It could be that. There's a lot of different reasons. So like for you, Jeanette, there's exploitation. I'm not saying that's actually you, but like, because you wrote down exploit. People do exploit people for money, or they what's the other word for exploit? I just had the word and it just disappeared. It doesn't matter. It's close enough. scam. That wasn't what I was looking for, though. But it's not really about, it's about the feeling. It's not really about the action. It's the feeling that the action produces. So actually I'll remove exploited, because exploited is not a feeling, it's an action. So actually we'll see. Exploited will lead to theoretically pain and some sort of like despair. Name, what's up, bro? Oh, there's the finna. Betrayal. Money has betrayal on it. If people steal, like scamming, you get betrayed. So yeah, betrayal. And betrayal leads to just anger and frustration, and anger and rage. And name, you said finna, bro. I see finna. I have to laugh at that word for a moment. I see finna. I had some news I finna tell you. I contacted Michael Jordan's family business and asked about the thing we talked about, and if they didn't say no. Yeah. Apologies for if I missed anybody's messages. It's not fun being betrayed by people you trust. Exactly. That's why I'm writing shit like that out, because betrayal's a big one. Especially that one actually leads to relationships. So there's going to be overlapping things, like money and people kind of go hand in hand. And so like, and health is sort of just kind of there, but like that's tied to you specifically. But money and relationships are basically like, they're like this with each other. And so, you know, growing up, when it came to relationships, for me, like my personal experience with relationships, not observing someone else's experience, my experience, there was nothing but conflict and drama and problems. And guess what? If your subconscious mind does not like conflict, dramas, and problems, guess what it's going to do? It's going to push away the thing that you want. So let's say you want relationship, but your relationship, here's the thing about a lot of people. I know I'm kind of jumping all over the place, but hear me out. Let me land. You have two different definitions to things. You have your conscious definition and your subconscious definition. I'm going to break down those two right now. Your conscious definition is the logical. You know that you want a relationship. You logically know you can handle a relationship. But what about your subconscious? Does your subconscious like relationships? If your subconscious right now has anything with conflict, drama, problems, cheated, betrayal, sadness, anger, frustration, annoying, loneliness, or responsibility tied to having a relationship, then guess what the subconscious mind is going to do? It's going to push that shit away, and you'll never get your relationship. Or you will, but you're going to keep proving the prover right by running into a person who's going to keep mirroring back what you believe is true about relationship. Conflict, drama, problems, cheated, betrayal, sadness, anger, frustration, annoying, loneliness, and responsibility. And so if your current definition, because most humans do not understand that there's two definitions, conscious and subconscious. You could consciously know that things are meant for you, but what about your subconscious definition? Right? Because your subconscious runs your reality. That's a bar. Please write it down. You think your 5% conscious mind runs reality? You can scream all you want that you're a trillionaire. But if your body has told you, who do you think you are? Trillionaire, get the fuck out of here. Right? Get the fuck out of here. You think your 5% is gonna outdo the 95%, or you can say 90% over the 10%. Like there's no way the 10% is gonna rule the 90%. It just doesn't work that way. The subconscious uses emotion, which is illogical and irrational. It does not give a fuck about your little time, about like, well, I think I let go of the past. But that's not true at all, because the subconscious mind holds on to everything. And until you feel it fully, you will continue to feel the experiences that you've held. That's why it's important to feel all your feelings. That's why I never will tell anybody to bypass their feelings. Yes, you can snap shit away like that, but you have to get to that point in your life where you can snap shit away like that. But most people cannot. They have to feel the feeling first. And when you snap shit like away, you can then rewrite your history. When you change your history, you change your experience. That's a bar, write it down. Instead of me actually hating people for 20 years, I actually had to go through a process of hating to understand what love is, to understand what actual connection with people are. What's up, Sadia? So that I could be more connected with everyone else. Because if I didn't go through it, then there's no friggin' way I'd be connecting with all of you. There's no fucking way. Shit will not work. What's up, Andy and Sadia? Good to see you both. Yes, exactly. Spot on 384. There's a book called Psycho-Cybernetics. If you all haven't read that book, really fascinating book. But there is a plastic surgeon who has people come to his office to get things done on their face and whatnot. But guess what? They get the thing removed or whatever from their face, but they still feel the same. Because it's subconsciously still deep within them. They emotionally still feel the same way they did, even though they have the new look. You guys are dropping bars right now. I haven't even read half of your stuff. And I know I missed a bunch of your questions. So, Prashant, is that how you say it? Prashant. I have a hard time pronouncing non-English names, so I do apologize. Well, my near-death experience wasn't a near-death experience. I didn't die to go to heaven. I had a activation where my soul left my body, so you can call it a astral projection. At the time, I didn't know it was called an astral projection, but I astral projected out of my body without me knowing that I astral projected. And when I astral projected out of my system or out of this vessel, I was able to see what I was supposed to see. But I didn't die. But I had experiences where I almost died, but I didn't cross over in those experiences. I was still fully engaged with my body. I was still here. Money is a systemic way of enslavement, so what I mean is that it will always bring out the true intentions in humans. The reason for this is for us to realize what is wrong and use it better. Money is just a tool. It's just a neutral tool. It has its own philosophies and its own not philosophies, that's not the word. It has its own energy. It's its own entity. Now, when I say entity, I don't start thinking it's some crazy like scary shit. Like when I say entity, it's just another energy. It's just another energy that seeks to want to be used in whatever way the user is using it. So that's why like you see so-called corrupted people doing pretty gnarly things with money. They're doing some pretty crazy shit with it, and yet money will still flow to them. But then you see good people who have really not so great frequency. That doesn't mean they have not good intention. That just means that they have terrible frequency, because money likes confidence. Money likes speed. Money likes to know that it can actually be safe. Most people don't feel safe with money, so their subconscious block is that money is dangerous. I should write that down, actually. Dangerous means unsafe. So I'm going to write down unsafe. So money feels unsafe for a lot of people, because when you don't feel safe to something, the chat is definitely popping indeed. When you don't feel safe with something, you will push it away, because the subconscious mind adheres to safety. And if something doesn't feel safe, you will block it. Relationships, people, money, opportunities, situations, you name it. Anything that does not feel safe, you will push it away. And you will wonder, why is this not happening for me? Well, it's simple, because your subconscious definition of this is meaning that it's not safe. You got to make something safe. If you make it safe, you will see that it will start to come to you, because anything, and I mean this, relationships, money, people, whatever it is, you make something safe internally, it will come to you. If you don't make it safe, it will be repelled. It'll be doing this. It'll be like, you're not safe. Why the fuck would I come to you? And the subconscious block is like, yeah, we shouldn't have that. That's dangerous to us. It's like death. It's like, and so basically you're going to do this. Stay away. And so you got to make things safe. And how do you make things safe? You have to go internally and start to go back to all those experiences that you've experienced, either directly or indirectly through someone else's experience, like your parents or your caregiver or whatever, your friends, that you saw someone get jacked, or they got screwed over, and then you emotionally internalize that as your own version of your truth, and you were like, yeah, that person's such a bitch, I'm never gonna let people do that to me, like what they did to my friend. And people take on other people's bullets, and they don't understand why they're experiencing things in their life that they never actually experienced because they observed it. You have to realize that you also have observed things. You don't just experience it directly, you observe it from other people. That's why it's important when you're watching content to not just absorb what people are saying, because it doesn't matter. And this also goes for me, so please be mindful to the things I say too. When you're watching content, it throws you into theta. And I do apologize for, I didn't read the chat, but because I'm in a flow state, but you guys already know when I'm locked in, I'm locked the fuck in. When you're thrown into theta, time does not exist anymore. You scroll, and you're scrolling, you're just like absorbing, right? You're just like, and now you kind of like catch yourself for a moment. You're like, oh my god, it's already 10 o'clock? What the fuck? What the fuck? It's already 10 o'clock? And guess what happens? You were thrown into theta, and everything that you were watching in that period of time between when you started to when you caught yourself, you may have internalized some of that stuff, depending on what you took on. Like, maybe you watched a guy, cheat on a woman, and then, like, from a woman's aspect, yeah, all fucking guys are fucking cheaters and blah 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 blah, and all guys, I'm gonna make sure no guy cheats on me and blah blah blah. So then you start to emotionally absorb that, and that now becomes part of your definition for relationships, that men will screw me over. But it also works on the guy side too. If you're watching content and you see a girl just be playing games with men, and just using you for your resources or whatever it is, then guess what? You're gonna catch that bullet, and you're gonna be like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna make sure that, like, it's just simple to be single, because women they create this thing. And so this is what happens with when people make fucking content. You have to be mindful of what they're at. Number one, what frequency are they on? And number two, what is their intention when they're making that content? And so, like, the more we, and there's so many vast, like, spectrums to that. That's just one aspect of many aspects. There's so much to talk about when it comes to that aspect, or that whole relationship content thing on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. There's so much to talk about with that. Anyways, your subconscious, I'm going to just keep it simple now. I'm going to slow down. Your subconscious mind runs your reality via your emotions. Your emotions are the largest shareholder of your reality. I'm going to repeat that one more time. Your emotions is not your thoughts. Your emotions, which are illogical and irrational, transcend your logical, rational, and logical thinking. 100% of the time. You can attempt to override your logic with your emotion, but your emotions 99.99998% of the time will always outdo your logic, because everything you do is based on how you feel. Just because you say you're going to work because you have to do something, because there's a feeling. Because if you don't go to work, then you're going to run into a problem with bills, and that's a feeling of unsafety. So everything is stemming with feeling. Everything. I don't care what it is. It all comes down to feeling. And so 95%, it's 90 to 95%. So we'll use 95 because it's the number. 95% of your mind is based in emotions, and that runs this show. You're logical, like, I want that car or whatever. Cool, that's great, but does your subconscious want that car? I'll give you a great example right now. You go get a Ferrari. I'm going to use just a plain example, a Ferrari. And again, I apologize, everyone who's leaving things in the chat. I'm locked in. You go get a Ferrari, or insert your favorite car, okay? So you have this car now. Looks great on paper. You get to drive it. It makes you feel good. But there's something probably hiding in the background. And maintenance, the cost of like how much it's going to cost to fix the car when it needs to be fixed, or any repairs. Then there's the whole upkeeping, and it becomes like a responsibility, and you're gonna like, oh, fuck's sakes, I have to go wash the car. I gotta make sure like I don't run into potholes. You got to be like extra careful. You can't drive too fast. You got to make sure you're not driving behind a truck. You got to do all kinds of stuff, and then it starts to become a little bit of a problem. Right, not wanting the car to be damaged, exactly, and so that starts to become a little bit of a mental exercise. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, I want this car, but like I have to do all this extra stuff, and that's where emotions start to kick in, and you'll start to see slowly but surely. You're like, this car is actually more of a problem. This actually becomes more of a fucking problem, and then guess what happens? Somewhere down the road, you still have this car, but now problems are starting to arise because now you've created all this emotional turbulence within yourself. And this is what this is. It's emotional fucking turbulence that you're creating within yourself. And as you're creating that emotional turbulence within yourself, guess what's happening? Your external world is just feeding off of your emotions internally. And thus a person, a situation, opportunity, or an event will mirror back truth that you're going to experience pain and difficulty or stress with this car. This made me abundantly clear. So the guy, just so you all know, I'm going to give you a little story right now. The guy who made the Fast and Furious 1 car, you know, the car that car, the orange one, the Supra, he sold the car to someone in the Netherlands. So in the Netherlands, the car is there right now. He told on a YouTube video why he sold the car, because people were asking, are you crazy? That's part of history. That's the movie car. Like, it's in the movie. That car was well kept, maintained. But he brought it to like shows so that people can see the car. But it became more of a burden to him. It became an emotional burden. And he always felt like it was too much hassle, too much work, too much stress, too much this. He kept saying that in the video. I'm like, I'm listening to him and I'm like, So that's why he sold the car, because he saw it as a problem now, because he had to upkeep it. He had to maintain it. The person who has the car, I don't know what they're doing with it. I trust that they're taking care of the car. But the original creator of that car, he has a YouTube channel. Has like 200,000 subscribers. I forget his name, but I have it saved somewhere. He saw that as a problem because it became more of an emotional like burden. And because anything that is a burden, the subconscious mind is going to block and it's going to want to purge and get rid of. Otherwise, it's going to become more of a problem. Because the one thing he was always worried, he was putting out fear. He's like, man, I'm going to drive this car, and if I get hit by a truck, or if there's like a pebble hits the windshield, then like some of these parts, you can't find them anymore, which is not true. You can find all the parts, but you know, because it's not one-to-one anymore. It's not the original. Like, it's now not going to be the original. So now it's a movie car, and that car is like worth a lot of money. And so, you know, you got to be extra careful with that car. You know what I'm saying? So like, you see, it's starting to become a little bit of a problem. You see, you can start to feel the problem already arising. So the same thing goes with anything else. You're starting to date. I'm going to use, so for my women out there, this is for you specifically. You're starting to date a man. And you're like, when is he going to drop the other shoe? When is he going to betray me? When is he going to show me his true colors? I'm going to use the women in a moment for my guys. When is he going to... when is he going to pull the rug underneath me? When is he going to do that? Because a lot of people have those underlying fears like hiding underneath. And so ultimately, you're going to start to vibrationally self-sabotage. And guess what? You can influence your partner into starting to do what you are mirroring back as truth. When is he going to pull the rug underneath me? When is he going to start to... Now, I'm not saying that it's not all your ish and it's none of their ish. They have their ish too. And their ish, they got to solve their ish. So it's combining two ishes into one colossal mess. So you got to know thyself before you get involved in shit like that. But anyways... you could potentially influence your partner to mirror back what is true, and they start to prove the prover right. They're like, yeah, you know, they're going to cheat on me. They're going to cheat on me. And guess what happens? They cheat on them. There was a song, and Nero was singing it one time, and he said that I manifested my girl to cheat on me, and so she did. And it was a fucking lyric in a song. I manifested my girl to cheat on me, and she did. Now, when you're listening to music, yes, it can influence you, but you know, if you know who you are, you can't really be influenced by it. But anyways, that right there, they manifest the lyrics again. I manifested my woman so that she can cheat on me, and so it did, and it happened. Like that was what the lyrics said. So it's pretty what the thinker thinks the prover proves. So thus that confirms that like what they thought was true. And guess what? I always had this belief that women were going to betray me. I had this like deep-seated belief because I've been betrayed by many people, but I've been betrayed by women that I liked. And my ex-wife, she went... not behind my back, but she started to talk with her ex-partner, and she started calling him like pet names again while I was married to her. I'm like, because what I was thinking was true. She's going to cheat on me, or she's going to betray me. She didn't actually cheat on me, thank God, but she did use a pet name, and so it felt like a fucking betrayal. I apologize again to all of you who are leaving your comments. I'm going to quickly read up, but I was in a flow. Some people have zero tolerance to negativity, but they get sudden crash and die. It is something subconscious mind. It can be. It can be. You're single, but you do know how to mingle. What I'm showing you is what the thinker thinks the prover proves. So what you think is true, you're gonna get it right, because the universe is like, okay, you believe that men or women are gonna cheat on you or betray you, then guess what? I'm gonna bring someone who's going to mirror back exactly what you feel. I'm gonna get them into your... This is why I was saying you will manifest the person, but they come with the nasty surprise, and they look on paper, they look wonderful, but deep down inside, they come with that hidden surprise. It's like a Kinder surprise, but it's not a Kinder surprise. You get the emotional surprise of them doing, like, going out and like doing you dirty or something like that. No, I don't know. There's nothing wrong with that. That was me. It had nothing to do with her. It was all me. Yes, she took the action, but I kept emotionalizing, like, because I had a lot of insecurities, so that's all on me. I take responsibility. You guys don't even have to... Don't demonize her. She's a wonderful person. It was based on my belief at the time. She's a wonderful person. We talked all this out, like, and we figured it out. But yeah, shit like that can and will happen if you truly internalize that. Like, what the thinker thinks the prover proves. If you believe that someone's going to pull a fast one on you, you bet your ass they're going to pull a fast one on you. You just don't know when, but they will pull a fast one on you. When are they going to pull the rug underneath from me? Or here's a good one. Intimacy. A lot of people start to, they lose the excitement in relationships. After a while, you're like, you wake up to the person next to you, you're like, it's the same person. So guess what happens? You start to create a problem out of nothing. And the mind is like, okay, so now you're starting to see this person as boring. You're confused? I'll explain in a moment. Well, share what you're confused on so I can help you. And I can clarify. But I'm going to continue my line of what I was going to say. So you now are starting to say that this person is boring. So guess what? The universe is going... I've already read the Bhagavad Gita. I read it all. I read all the books. And I'm not a genius. I'm just one with the universe, like we all are. My favorite line in the Bhagavad Gita: there is action in blah blah blah. There's action in inaction, and there's action, or there's inaction in action. That one always like trips me up on how to say that. But action in inaction and inaction in action. Anyways, to continue. So you start to feel bored with this person. So guess what? Your subconscious mind is starting to see, oh, you're getting bored now, huh? So then the universe is seeing what your subconscious mind is seeing as truth. So you're going to start to create a problem out of nothing. You're going to start to vibration self-sabotage. And then your partner is going to start to create maybe a problem in your life. And you're going to wonder what the fuck is going on. Why is she creating a problem for me? Or vice versa. Maybe why is he creating a problem for me? And then you guys start to do that. And guess what happens? You wonder what the fuck is going on. Because somewhere deep down inside, you started to feel something that you were feeling and you were unaware of why you're feeling it. And thus, it's important to understand yourself. The greatest book you will ever read, and please write this fucking down, is the previous chapters of your life. There is no... You can go read all the other fucking books. I read them all, and I can tell you that, like, the greatest chapters, or the greatest book you're ever going to read is the book of you and your previous chapters. Personal development, spirituality, but the best book is the book on you. Yeah, exactly. So the pet names for her were harmless, but for me, they were like, that felt like betrayal. I'm like, you're gonna tell another guy the same thing you're telling me? Like, what the fuck? Like, because I perceived it that way. And because I perceived it that way, I made it into a problem. But for her, it wasn't a problem, because for her, like, you know, she's a flirtatious person, but at the same time, like, she didn't see the problem. She's like, she said this to me. She said this to me, and this is where it anchored in for me. She's like, okay. She said we were in bed, and we're watching a movie, and she turned to me and she said, you know, there's no point you getting jealous. I'm like, well, you're telling guys about, you know, blah 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 blah. But the thing is, like, I now feel like I'm not as special because you've now used the names that you're giving me to other guys. So, like, what's the fucking point, right? Like, I don't pursue that relationship. We're done, but I mean, I care about her because I see her as a sister now, obviously. If you're not a romantic interest to me, you become a sister. It's just that simple. I don't do friends when it comes to girls. I just don't. It's either your sister or your partner. There is no in between. I don't do friends as girls. I don't. You're either a sister or you're a partner. It's just that simple for me. Anyways, so I'm speaking with her. I'm like, you calling these guys pet names, and it's not making me feel any better. It's not making me feel any better. She's like, listen. She said this, and it was a bar, actually. She's like, well, aren't I here next to you? I'm like, what do you mean? Aren't I laying in bed next to you? Didn't I not choose you? I'm like, fair. I mean, yeah. Well, then there's nothing to be jealous about because I chose you. You see, like, this is the thing. Because I created it into a problem, it became a problem. That's what the subconscious mind was doing, because I felt it as betrayal. But for her, she didn't see it as betrayal. So, you see, like, it's important to understand what the fuck is going on. Because when you don't know what's going on, you start to misperceive things in a way that... And back then, the awareness level wasn't quite sharp as it is now. Like, it's sharp. I can see shit before shit happens. Anyway, so, like, what I'm saying is, like, I manifested that problem, and it came through her to keep calling other guys pet names, and I created a problem. Because in the beginning, when we first connected, I didn't have a problem with, well, let me rephrase that. In the beginning, I had a problem with women stepping out on me, and I said it earlier. Exactly. It does come down to that, but you have to also realize too that you are the one that also influences your experiences with the people around you. So yes, it definitely comes down to boundaries and expectations, but my expectation was that women betray me. But I didn't know that. Like, I didn't know that logically. So deep down inside, no, you can kind of swipe your ass up out of the stream. Anyways, my expectation was women betray me, women cheat on me, women hurt me, women do these things to me. So I went into that relationship already playing defense. I'm not playing offense, I'm playing defense. I'm like protecting myself now. But I kept manifesting it over and over and over with emotions that it eventually, she went and she started to call other guys pet names. And that started to feel like betrayal. But to her, it was, yeah, for her it was harmless. But that's what it is. Shall I help assist you out of here? I think I'll help you I'll assist you out of here since you're like vomiting right now. I think we need you to be healthy. So let's assist you out of here. How about that? Shall we do that? I think that's a fine idea. Let's go ahead and assist. Oh, this is the person who's hiding in the background. Interesting. This person's hiding in the background. Okay, anyways. Let's continue. So, this work is very, very important to do. And I highly recommend you all, if you can, at some point in your life, doesn't have to be right this moment, but it all depends on when you want to lock the fuck in. You make a list of things that you emotionally experienced and emotionally observed with intensity. And I mean the painful things. And the reason why I'm saying the painful things, because the painful things always overwrite the joyful things. That's a bar, unfortunately. Did I check the list twice? I sure did. And go through your experience and write down for money and relationships. Health it's not too much of an issue. You can deal with that one pretty easily. But health or money and relationship are the two biggest problems generally people have in this world. Not having enough and people being whatever to them. And you go and you ask yourself this question: what have I emotionally experienced with money? From either myself or someone else, like my parents or my friends, like, for example, and it doesn't mean that this all happened in childhood. It could have been something last week and you could have emotionally observed or had the experience and your subconscious mind took it in. So this is not just all childhood. This is also throughout your entire life, quite literally. So let's say, for example, you just lost, let's say you got scammed for $1,000 recently. Let's say you lost $1,000. That happened like a week ago. You now will start having that painful experience with money. That money is like, ugh. Oh, I got scammed. I got to be careful now. I got to be more careful now. And that be careful feeling doesn't feel safe because now you feel unsafe. That money is leaving you like that. And now you're going to be more guarded. And that more guarded won't allow flow. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, you start to guard money, you're blocking inadvertently money from flowing. It's not going anywhere. Because now you're putting a block like, ooh, I got to protect my money. This is where the whole hurting, like hoarding money comes into. Like you're blocking shit. And thus, you're not going to allow it to flow. Because all you had the experience due to feeling unsafe because you got scammed. And that is unfortunate, but that's what starts to happen. You start to internalize things like that. Do most people, when they get hit with a scam, they brush it off? They're like, okay, I just got hit with a scam. Okay. All right, let's see what we're going to do now. Most people are going to be like emotional, like, ugh. It's funny. You want to hear something? You guys are going to like this one. And Andy, even though I haven't read all of it, I can see what you wrote and it's spot on. I'm kind of skimming through your message and I'm reading. I'm like, here is a bar for all of you. You might want to write this down. You actually, when you gain something, no one's it was my ex-partner, but it's not a problem now. If that's who you're referring to. Okay, here's the bar. You actually don't give a fuck when you gain something, but you actually give a fuck when you lose something. Let me run that one back. What's up, Sammy? And it's not a do-rag, it's a headband. You don't give a fuck when you gain something, generally. You're like, cool, I got it. Like, when you gain money, you're like, cool, happy, but, like, you're not, like... Unless you win, like, $1 billion or something, you're jumping for joy. But, generally speaking, when you lose something, you have more emotions than when you gain something. That's why they say it's harder to keep things than to get things. It's harder to maintain things because you're in this constant worry of like potentially losing it. That's why who's a coward? What was I gonna say? You start to really emotionally feel it intensely when you start to lose stuff. Like, you feel good when you gain something. I'm not saying you never use emotions when you gain something, but when you start to lose something, oof, it's painful. So make sure you're aware of that, because like in gaining, you don't really feel, you feel stuff, but you don't feel it like heavily. But when you lose something, like when you have that partner, you get that butterfly feeling in your stomach, but then when you lose them, it feels like a devastating blow, like you can't recover. Because the world operates more on the negative spectrum than the positive. But you have the power to shift that in every present moment. Did you all just disappear? The live was like busy, but it's all good. No problem. I'm just kind of scrolling back up. That's where healthy communication comes in and problem solving can happen. Spot on. Okay, cool. Did my live stream just get stuck? I don't even know, to be honest, what the fuck's going on, but whatever. Let's go check. It did. Okay, now it's working. What the fuck was going on? Why is it freezing? Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. Internet was acting silly. And remember, if you're willing to talk to subconscious, if you're willing to talk to yourself, you can remember and grow stronger from those moments and be better in those moments. The fuck is going on? It's like lagging. It's like freezing. What the fuck is going on here? Is it fucking working? It doesn't feel like I'm back. It's like I'm fucking glitched. I'm not back. It's acting like a fucking little bitch right now. Stupid, stupid, stupid. It's okay. Yeah, my internet is pooping right now. It's crazy. Okay, anyways. I had to go on data. So I won't be spending too much time on too much more time. Alright, what was I saying? I don't remember what I was saying. But I was saying basically this. You can't just sit and listen. You got to partake. And it's about giving back. Spot on. I did read a little bit of what you wrote, but this shit is like lagging the fuck right now. You basically said it's important to learn emotional maturity to do that so you can realize how your actions impact someone else. And internet is glitching. I'm still watching my own stream and it's glitching right now. It's crazy. Must be a phone issue. Must be a phone issue. All right. Well, I think I'll have to keep. I think I'll have to end the live stream only because like I was supposed to jump off anyways because I said I was going to keep it short today. So it's one of those glitchy moments. It's like every few seconds it's like freezing. So for those of you who are on and I'm kind of working, I'm going to jump off. I'll see you guys later tomorrow. But we're not done. Like I'm going to continue to talk about this thing that I was talking about today into tomorrow. Because it's important to talk about this. I will definitely have a good one. It's important because we're not done with this. Like we're not even scratching the fucking surface with this. Person who's hiding in the background. Yeah, that's the subconscious mind. What was I gonna say? Just remember, y'all, I'm going to just leave you with this bar. You cannot... You cannot open new doors with old keys. Where's my pen? That's going to be a mic drop. You cannot open new doors with old keys. You cannot. You cannot. Write that down. You cannot open new doors with old keys because if you attempt to, and keys refer to emotions, it refers to thoughts, it refers to beliefs. If you think that you're going to open up new doors with your current beliefs or your thoughts or your feelings, It ain't going to work. It's not happening. There's no way that's going to work. Zero. So I'm going to leave that. We're going to keep it like that, and we'll pick up tomorrow afternoon from after clients, and we'll run with that. Make sure you're aware of your keys. Love you all. I'll see you tomorrow. And I'm going to go watch some wrestling and go eat some dinner. And it's getting fucking cold. Bye, y'all. I'll see you. I'll see you when I see you. Bye-bye.